Alright, on to Virgo. Virgo. The stars. Virgo. You're a star, Virgo. You are a shooting, shining star. We have the Knight of Swords on top of this pretty little flower. Now, this is making the fire, even like I see fire on the swords. So it's like we are putting our anger and aggression into our words, which perhaps that's the way the stars are aligned this month in your chart, Virgo. So perhaps that's something to be aware of. Also, this bird energy going fast. He has a helicopter on, so they might be flying, like words are flying. So perhaps we stop, take a look at the stars before you speak. That'll help you. I also want to check what this symbol is. I'm not quite sure. It does look like fire to me. I want to make sure before we move on. Make sure I'm giving you the correct information. It could be a flower. Here it is. Eroticism. Let's read this. Virgo. Keywords: sexuality, eros, sensuality, physical pleasure, sexual energy, fertility, sacral chakra, kundalini, tantra, and fornication. So sexuality represents one of the fundamental and vital energies of the human being, a central part of the identity and development of personality. In addition to the physical act itself, which ensures the evolution of the species, it also includes emotional, cognitive, psychological, and social components, a wide variety of behaviors, actions, and feelings. Each person relates to sexuality in their own way, depending on the age, generation, education, and personality. Eroticism, through its positive aspects, involves tenderness, safety, desire, satisfaction, and through its negative aspects, dependency, exercise of power, violence, manipulation, animal instinct, fornication. Okay, so that's what I was talking about, the animal instinct. Like, look up in the stars first, and perhaps it is in the stars, like in your birth chart. And just because it's in there doesn't mean that you cannot work with it. Are you then able to deal with it? That's like not being able to heal the pain. Like, you can't heal something that you can't feel. So it's like you have to feel the pain in order to heal. And that's like what we were saying about the fall with the friends in Leos. When you fall, you don't feel yourself falling, or you feel yourself falling perhaps, but falling isn't what hurts. It's actually hitting the ground that causes the pain. The initial fall, the actual act of falling, does not hurt. Properly shared sexual energy, manifested and accepted both by women and man, is the ultimate act by which yin and yang forces combine, during which the two complete each other, and they become one, through which each of the two is filled with the joy, ecstasy, and devotion of the other. So perhaps you are feeling this more sexual during this time, and perhaps we are putting it into words, or putting it into action, or perhaps that's what's on our mind, and that's what these thoughts are of, like, over and over. Like, perhaps we're having thoughts of sex, either in its positive or negative aspects. That's nonetheless, the importance is here that eroticism is the thought, and perhaps we do have to take a look at the stars to see. Maybe that'll help us. Let me know in the comments if this resonates. Don't forget to subscribe from Virgo to Libra. Libra, number 9, gaining. Oh, your word, Earth. And you have this gaining. Wow. This is very, and your card is the Freedom card. And I see it's this barbed wire fence, and if you're teaming up with someone to break through this fence, or perhaps you're teaming up with you're putting your mind with your actions, with your feelings, and you are freeing yourself in a loving way that you now are gaining from this. Or perhaps this has something to do with the endings of a relationship, or freeing yourself from a relationship. And if it's not a relationship with someone else, perhaps it's a relationship with something, or with yourself, perhaps like a habit or something. But you receive these coins, 1, 6, you receive these coins. Perhaps they're not literal coins, perhaps they're like, oh, like, you did these 5 things, and this is what you get for that. Perhaps spending time in earth, around the trees, on the ground, walking on the ground, or feet on the ground with no shoes will help with this. Definitely being in earth will help. Alright, on to Scorpio. Ooh, Scorpio, the Hermit with water, and I see the word time. So, the spiritual water, holy water, and its reflection. So, I see this wolf with 3 heads. So perhaps we are looking at a reflection of the past, present, and the future. And we're matching it up with the spirit. Like we're going on a spiritual hunt, in a sense. And we're very fluid at this time, or water is very important at this time. Our emotions, perhaps getting enough water, drinking water, running water. Water also clears or cleanses a person, a crystal, whatever the case may be. Water also cleanses, so perhaps we have to look at what needs water, what needs our emotion, what needs fluid, what needs to change, what needs to move. And we're looking, perhaps we have to be fluid with our spirituality at this time. Like we have to have an open mind to the spiritual aspect of things. Alright, Scorpio, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, victory in reverse. Jupiter. So this Jupiter aspect, this conjunct Uranus, this fiery, this has something to do, maybe it's conjunct Leo, maybe this is in your 5th house. I see Hermes again with this. It's like a shocking event that yeah, you may lose, and you have double fire here because your word is fire. And then we have this like a fairy tale land. So perhaps this dreamy fantasy you're in, perhaps you're in this daydream, or perhaps it is in your dreams that caused this, but we are acting in a negative way. And perhaps it is this Jupiter conjunction with this Uranus in Aries, next with this fire in your chart. So we have this dreamy, perhaps it is something at nighttime, something that has to do with unicorns. And I said like a fantasy. Perhaps that's what caused us to lose this fight, but that's also what puts the fire under our ass to come back and still keep on fighting. And that's what I hear for you. Thanks very much. Now Capricorn. We have pleasure in reverse, along with the word sleep. And we have this water. So we have this stagnant water. So we have to sleep. We need sleep. I'm going to tell you, sleep, 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 sleep. This all says sleep right here. We have this either overflowing amount of pleasure or this abundance of pain. This could be stagnant waters or like solid, we're not moving type shit. Perhaps we're getting too much sleep, but I see as us needing sleep. Perhaps we are doing too much of what we like, that we don't have enough time. And I see pleasure here too. We have a double pleasure. Perhaps we need sleep is our pleasure, or we find out what we like through our sleep. Sleep will bring us pleasure, or the lack of sleep is what's bringing this lack of pleasure. Sleep is necessary, and it's also warranted to get this out. Alright, Aquarius. Ooh, oppression, number 10 of swords, with the word astrology. So perhaps the oppression that we do feel is like embedded in the stars. That's the day you were born. So knowing about this will help us better understand it. It'll better help us deal with it, and it'll help us work around it as well. There's also an ending to a situation where you had to stand firm on these rules or regulations. You had to be brave and like stick to these rules, or perhaps you do have to stick to these rules. This is about stepping out of your comfort zone. Perhaps you're not into astrology, or astrology is not your thing. Or perhaps in astrology right now we're at an uncomfortable time where there is some kind of oppression, something holding you back. Perhaps this is a mental thing, whereas it's like a mental setback or a mental delay. And perhaps astrology will help. Looking at the astrology of the matter will help. I definitely see you stepping out of your comfort zone, Aquarius, and trying something new. Even if it's the same thing you do every day, do it in a new way. That's your challenge. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe if you have yet to do so, and stay tuned for the full moon reading. Okay, Pisces, last but not least, it's time, and we got number 9. 2 cards down for you, Pisces. We're going to take them both, so we're focused on, wow, this is very dark, deep, scorpionic feeling. So perhaps Pluto is in your chart, or around this time. Time is very necessary. I hear time not being on your side, or maybe time is on your side. I hear time's an illusion. I hear now's your time to shine. Maybe it's your time to rhyme. Now with these, with astrology and all the shit that's going on, now is the time to be focused on the shadow aspects, or what's negative, or what needs to go, Pisces. We're focusing on what brings us negativity, what's cruel to you. We're shedding our skin. This is the Nine of Swords, so this all could be mentally. So perhaps we're going inward to sort out our mental thoughts. Perhaps now's the time. And perhaps you should take your time. Speaking of time, it's time to go over these signs that'll be feeling it and where it's going, where they're going to feel it. Perhaps it's in the pleasure, and that's what it is. Let's not do things for lust, and let's do it for love. And we must have gratitude. Because here we are releasing all of these negative emotions because we have the death with disappointment in reverse, with the number 7 failure in the middle. So with this death, it's Scorpio energy. With it being in reverse, we're failing to let go of something or failing to move on. With this domination right here, or dominion, we have a choice about this action that we're about to take, or lack of action. Perhaps we have a choice about how you are. This is like I am. So perhaps like I am. Perhaps we're making a choice about something that we failed at. Perhaps we're reliving that same failure. Perhaps the cat is out of the bag, and that is why we are letting go. There is this, something's no longer hidden, and now we're going through. Perhaps we're going through all of our failures, and we're looking at all the things that we messed up in, and perhaps that's a good thing, because that helps us grow. Like I said earlier, like if you don't feel it, you can't heal it. So perhaps we're looking at this, and we're really feeling these effects, so that way we can heal it. And now is the time for us. We need to come together. And this has to do with this pleasure. So stay tuned for the full moon reading coming up at April 23rd. We should have it released soon with these words from these transparent symbols and the wisdom words. Thank you so very much, everyone. Don't forget to hit that bell so that way you get notifications of the next video. And again, I thank you and love you.